Hey folks, John here, Old Hickory Forge. Welcome back. If it's your first time here, welcome. So, what's going on today? I'm down here in the workshop. What I got here, this is actually the first hammer I ever made solo by hand. It's even got, I don't know if you can see or not, but it's got my first generation mark on it. You know, I used to use little letter punches back before I had a touch mark, so this thing's a good few years old. The handle's starting to get loose, and with what I know now, I can make something cooler. So that's what's going on today. What I got here, scrap chunk of 3-inch round 1045. Normally this would be unusable because it'd be such a pain to work down by hand. But we're gonna throw this thing up under the press, square it up into a more usable stock size, and we're gonna go from there. So if you want to check it out, stick around. So that took 4 heats total. We took that chunk of scrap 3-inch round to this real nice chunk of about 2-inch square with some real pretty broken corners. This is obviously way more than I need for a 3-pound hammer. So I'm gonna let it cool, throw it in the bandsaw, rip off what I need, and go from there. So what happened there, the machine kind of got away from me and I drew this thing out thinner than I wanted it. So I just took an upset, squared it back up, and now we got a real nice 2-inch square by 3.5-inch block of steel. That's about 3.4 pounds, should give us plenty of material to play with, but we'll let this thing cool, find the center, and keep moving. So now we're gearing up to get the eye punched. What I got here is a set of punching and stripping dies I made for the press. Basically the way it works, we got an H13 hammer eye punch welded to a die plate. It comes down, punches into the billet, lifts it up, and these stripper bars pull it off. The trick I found to doing this on a press without breaking this die for the 4th time is don't try to go too far too fast, but there's that, and we'll keep moving. So we'll just give it a quick tap to mark it, make sure we're looking good. Not bad. There's some charcoal powder in there. So for those of you who don't know, what the charcoal powder does is as it burns, it kind of creates this layer of soot between the punch and the billet that keeps it from sticking to it. It's the best way I've found to get that punch out of there without jerking up really hard on the stripping die. So I got a jar of it over here, ready to go. So to help get the plug out as well as open up the eye a little bit to save the drifting I have to do by hand, I got this high-speed little bolster block here. Basically, you just put it up under there. It lifts the billet up slightly higher so the punch can go a little further without bottoming out. But that's what's happening now. Alrighty, so it took about 3 or 4 heats, and we got a nice clean plug. Nice good sized die. Shouldn't be a whole lot of drifting by hand I got to do. So now it's time to do the fullers in the hammer. So what I got here, just a set of fullering dies. They're basically just 3/4-inch flat stock that I rounded over the ends. They're what makes those real pretty fullers in the hammerhead. So that's what's happening now. So now it's time to start spreading out the cheeks of the hammer. You want nice wide cheeks to give you lots of grip inside the eye. So what I got here is a narrower set of fullering dies. Basically, I'm going to bang the drift in, set it in here, work on the high side of the drift, and spread the material out widthwise. You know, just be careful not to go too far too fast because you still want to be able to planish the cheeks pretty smooth, but that's what's happening now. Like I said, high side of the drift, working the material towards me. Just being careful not to bite in too far. Beautiful. Alrighty, got our cheeks fullered out. They're looking good. You can leave the fuller marks in if you want to, but I like them smooth. So what I'll do is bang the drift back in and stick this baby back between the flat dies. I'll probably still have to do a little bit of dressing by hand, but we're getting there. I got the drift in. Let's give it a good squish. Awesome. So now it's time to draw down the peen, seeing as how this is going to be a cross peen, which can actually be kind of tricky on the press because the dies only come down flat. So what I got here is I made this tool. It's a piece of round stock cut in half. I'm not sure if I should call it a fuller or a flatter. But basically what I do is I stick my workpiece in here and I tilt it, and then I mimic the angle of the tilt with this, and when the press comes down, it makes it just a little bit easier to forge a taper. There's still a good bit of cleanup that's going to happen by hand, but this will get us most of the way there. So I forgot to film the first heat, but you get the idea. As you see, it's all out of whack, so what we'll do is we'll go to the anvil with a hand hammer, bring it back into line, draw it out a little bit more, make it look pretty, and keep moving. Alrighty, took quite a while to get the peen straightened up and cleaned up and everything. If anybody's got tips or tricks for drawing down tapers on a press, I'd appreciate it, because that seems to be what's giving me the most trouble. But we got the general shape of the hammer going, and now we'll do the artwork. So, to do the artwork I have in mind for the hammer, I got a special set of punches I made specifically for doing this. Pretty cool, huh? So here's just kind of a close-up of the punches I used to make the face, in case you were wondering. One of them is just kind of like an oval, and the other one's like a kind of like a teardrop shape. They're both just made of mild steel. I figured I wouldn't use them very often, so it'll be fine. And you just use a chisel to do the mouth. Alrighty, here we are after the rough grind. Looking good. We'll normalize this thing a few times. I've also gone ahead and broken this corner down here just to get a nicer fit up, and we'll get this baby heat treated. Alright, 10:45, so we're going into water. You know, nothing fancy. Just keep it moving. If you just drop it in there, it'll form a steam jacket and it won't cool off fast enough to harden. So, quench appears to have gone well. I don't see any cracks. So we'll throw this thing in the oven at 400 for an hour just to take any stress that's in there out, and then it's all just left is to clean it up and make a handle. Pretty cool little trick I've picked up finishing hammer handles a little faster is after you come off the sender, instead of going at it with a wood rasp or just some heavy grit sandpaper, take you a good sharp knife and just kind of scrape with the grain of the wood. And that alone leaves a pretty serviceable surface finish. Like, you know, if you were in the field, that will be plenty good. I'm still going to sand it to make it feel a little better, but that's just a cool little trick I wanted to share with you guys. Split this baby to get the wedge started. Perfect. Throw some wood glue on here. And here we are after charring and oiling the handle. Looks pretty good, I think. And so, let's give it a test. That's a pretty good bounce to it. So, just got a piece of scrap 1/2-inch square, nothing fancy. Give the peen a try. I think it'll do. Here's our old hammer. And here's the new one. Pretty freaking cool, I think. So, first things first, got to give credit to the artist. This the skull motif was inspired by Michael Hoops over at Cold Township Forge. I'm going to leave a link to his Facebook and Instagram in the description as well as the comments. He's an amazing blacksmith. You should go check him out. So, I can't take credit for this idea, but I just like it. So, I wanted to make one for myself. Believe it or not, I really don't own many of my own tools, and as time permits, I would slowly like to remake my own tool rack with all my own stuff. So that's where we're starting, because the 3-pound cross peen is my favorite hammer. It's the one I use the most. But anyway, there's that. So, quick note, in the last video where I introduced the press and we made the Damascus, a few folks actually came forward talking about issues with the quality of the video, which doesn't surprise me at all. If you don't know, I actually film all of this with my phone, so I'm taking it in and out of my pockets. The lens gets dirty. I'll try to do better to remember to keep it clean in the future moving forward. Also, there's issues with the lighting because with the workshop being rearranged, I put in some bigger lights, which are good because I can see what I'm doing better, but there's always kind of that glare off screen now that I'm not really sure how to fix. I should probably just invest in a better camera. I'm sure I eventually will, but I'm still trying to get the hang of the new shop set up, get the angles figured out for better filming and everything. I want to bring you guys the best content possible. Now, I don't know the first thing in the world about videography or cameras or anything at all, really. So if any of you more technologically inclined folk in the comments want to throw some suggestions my way on how I can improve the quality of the videos, you're certainly welcome to. But that's all I got for you. If you like what you saw, like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Always more cool stuff coming. There's links to the Etsy if you want to purchase any of my work, Patreon if you want to support the channel, and all the social media if you want to follow me. I'm a lot more active on Facebook and Instagram than I am on YouTube, so you know, if you want to be a little more up to date, that's a great way to do it. But we got our super spooky Halloween hammer done. That's all I got for you. Happy Halloween. Y'all be safe out there. Don't go out getting into no crazy trouble. But like I said, that's all I got for you. I know. Y'all take care.